June, which June was Pride Month, Governor J.B. Pritzker signed 2 bills, he says, are LGBTQ plus affirmation bills. One that passed the House before they adjourned deals with the issue of whether or not somebody can have their birth certificates ultimately changed to reflect their gender of choice. Here is some of that debate from the House floor when they were bringing this up. And actually, you know what? We're going to do another segment on that coming up. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell with America's Talking Network. Go to America's Talking Network on YouTube, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And be sure to stay updated with what's going on here in Illinois. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Thank you so much for taking time with us each and every weekday morning here with Illinois in Focus Daily. On the final day of Pride Month, Governor J.B. Pritzker enacting several laws he says are LGBTQ plus affirmation laws here in the state of Illinois. I'm Greg Bishop. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Stay up to date with what's going on in and around Illinois at America's Talking Network on YouTube. So Governor Pritzker, yesterday, he shared a update on some bills he signed, and he says that they are LGBTQ affirming bills. One requires nonprofits who make donations over $1 million in grants to report demographic information about their boards. Another removes barriers to the process of changing legal gender on a birth certificate for Illinois residents born in other states. So let's talk about that first one on the House floor. State Representative Ulickle, he was the sponsor, talking about what exactly this measure does for the individuals who want to change their gender on birth certificates if those birth certificates are from out of state.
House Bill 5507 addresses a pressing legal gap for those in Illinois seeking to make gender marker corrections on identifying documents. Unlike Illinois, other states and counties may require court orders to make gender marker corrections on identity documents such as birth certificates. This poses a huge burden to those who have moved to Illinois, as it can be extremely difficult to get back to the state or country of origin, navigate the court system, hire an attorney to get such a court order. Many of those states will accept a finding of fact from an Illinois judge to make the necessary gender marker change. However, due to a lack of clarity in the law, judges are not granting this request. HB 5507 seeks to clarify that Illinois judges can issue findings of facts to support residents in their applications for gender marker changes in other jurisdictions. The bill also creates a mechanism that allows the petitioner to make the request. To be clear, the bill does not grant any new authority to judges, and it does not compel another jurisdiction to accept an Illinois judge's order. It simply clarifies that judges may issue findings of fact to petitioners seeking a gender marker change.
So again, it's something that will allow for somebody not from Illinois who lives in Illinois to go to a judge and more easily get a finding of fact to change the gender of their birth certificate in another state. State Representative Dan Ugasti, a Republican from Geneva, pushed back on this idea and said he's not going to support it.
In Illinois, we've designed our laws to allow for such changes. Other states may or may not have. And whether or not these states have allowed or will allow these changes, even if there's a finding of fact in Illinois, we're going to go ahead and use our court's time and have findings of fact made here in Illinois. I think I'm safe in saying that most of us here don't want other states telling us how to operate or what to do or what findings of fact we should make in our states. And I don't believe we should be doing the same in other states. Therefore, I'm going to oppose the bill and urge a no vote.
So again, measure up in the House when it was passed that Governor J.B. Pritzker signed on Sunday, allowing for that statement of fact or that finding of fact. State Representative Kelly Cassidy, Democrat out of Chicago, shared her thoughts on this measure.
We are talking about a limited number of people who maybe were born in another state. For example, I was born in Pennsylvania. I now live in Illinois. I need my birth certificate to match my identity, and I have no other way to do it than to get it done through this process. We don't want people left out. Having identity documents that don't match your gender is a public safety issue. This is a life and death issue for folks. It's a very simple matter to create a pathway for folks who are now here in Illinois, but maybe were born elsewhere, because last I checked, we all really like it when people choose to come to Illinois. So let's make it possible for our residents to live their best lives.
So, making the statement, we like it when people come to Illinois. And if you look at the data, more people are moving out of Illinois, and they're taking with them population and their adjusted gross income. We'll revisit that topic that we touched on Friday. A little bit later on with America's Talking Network and Illinois in Focus Daily. That wasn't the only measure the governor enacted, House Bill 5507. He also signed Senate Bill 2930, he says, was LGBTQ plus affirming. This measure in the Senate from State Senator Johnson, she describes it on the Senate floor as something that's going to help spur on more diversity, equity, and inclusion by requiring certain nonprofits to report their board demographics.
Senate Bill 2930 provides the following. Requires any nonprofit, as I mentioned, that provides 1 million or more grants annually to charitable organizations to report this data. And if any of the nonprofit organizations wishes to report the aggregate demographic information of their boards, this could be, they can do so on their annual report. And then it also allows individual board members to decline the disclosure of any demographic information to their nonprofit organization. And finally, the Department of Human Rights would develop and publish a standardized list of demographic classifications to be used for reporting. And I know of no opposition, and I request that I vote.
You've got the state senator there talking about the issue of nonprofit groups who grant more than $1 million to other nonprofit groups or other entities. They have to report to the states the makeup of their board. State Senator Jill Tracy, a Republican from Quincy, pushing back on this idea, saying that it's really going to be burdensome.
Some not-for-profits might not have any problem with disclosing demographics, but the fact is very many nonprofits make grants of over $1 million. Many small not-for-profits do that. And many of these not-for-profits are run by volunteers. They have a volunteer board, and the board members are often chosen for unique characteristics, experience in whatever the not-for-profit's mission is and the like. This bill could, and I have spoken to several not-for-profits and they have confirmed this bill can have an effect of making those volunteer board members decide they don't want to serve. And that's a shame. Our not-for-profits in Illinois do great work and are needed. So putting a burden on them that makes it more difficult for them to get volunteer board members, I think is a bad idea. And the fact that you have an obligation to put on your website, we've got 2 board members that don't disclose. Well, it's easy enough. If you've got 6 board members and 2 won't disclose and 4 do, it's easy enough to see who the ones aren't. It's a just bit of a burden to put on a not-for-profit that certainly want diversity, but as I said, it's a unique situation for a not-for-profit in choosing who to ask to be on their board because of their certain mission.
So
And many of
clearly,
these, as I said, are
you've got the concerns there about it being more burdensome. It also may be causing some volunteers to not want to volunteer if they have to disclose their demographic information and publicly report it to the state of Illinois. So those are the 2 bills the governor enacted on Sunday, and here we are Monday morning, July 1st. Appreciate you being here. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell with America's Talking Network. More than 87,000 people left the state of Illinois for other states, and with them they took nearly $10 billion. We talked about this on Friday from new Internal Revenue Service data. Well, here with Illinois in Focus Daily, getting reaction from State Senator Andrew Chesney. Chatted with him on Friday, and he shared with us some of his thoughts. Good morning, I'm Greg Bishop. Thanks for being with us each and every weekday morning. As we reviewed the IRS data from last week that was released, of course, it showed that Illinois continues to see outbound migration. We also shared with you the governor, J.B. Pritzker, denying this time and again for well over a year. And even after the 2020 census was complete, the governor was really adamant that the numbers were wrong. He would say that the census is wrong about this. But the new IRS data, as you can read at thecentersquare.com, Illinois loses $10 billion in income from 87,000 people moving out in the last 6 years. $47.5 billion in income left the state of Illinois. When I chatted with Senator Chesney, he shared some of his initial thoughts on this number and the continued loss of population in the state of Illinois.
Well, we trust the data, and the Democrat Party are the census deniers of this process, and they continue to push back against Democrat administrations that are showing the state of Illinois that they're not only losing population but losing wealth. And we need to trust the data that is being supplied to us, and then change our policies to complement an economy that can be more robust and can have and can be put on a better trajectory, because it's certainly not happening right now, and the people are no longer voting, they're leaving, and we're seeing that reflective in the data that you just mentioned.
So you've got
$10 billion
the
leaving
money.
the state. That's
and again, I chatted with Senator Chesney on Friday, but $10 billion is a lot of money. I asked him what it's going to take for Democrats to realize that you've lost this amount of money and population year after year, and what kinds of things will make them change their trajectory on getting the state on track to be gaining population. More from Senator Chesney here from my conversation with him on Friday.
Well, I think it's going to take that they're going to have to lose some elections. You know, Governor Pritzker has put a lot of money into these elections to offset their shortcomings. You know, he spent $400 million to shed a cast of doubt for anybody that challenges him. But they're essentially just buying these elections and through aggressive gerrymandering. But they're also pushing out, Greg, a lot of the producers of the state of Illinois. I mean, if you're an affluent person, if you're somebody that wants to build wealth, if you're somebody that has an extra few dollars and you're retiring, you can't trust that you're going to be treated well in the state of Illinois. So they're pushing out the producers, and they're welcoming in those that need services through the welcoming centers and the migrant crisis. And so what we've seen is that's, the Governor Pritzker, the people he treats the best are those that in many cases are here illegally and that have been welcomed in by the Biden administration and doubled down by the Pritzker administration. And so we're not bringing in the best and the brightest in many cases to the state of Illinois. We're actually pushing them out of our state through awful policies, and we're backfilling it with folks that want services, which is why you've seen the spending in the state of Illinois just explode for services, because in the state of Illinois, if you're an illegal immigrant, you get a free driver's license, you get free health care, you don't have co-pays, they roll out the red carpet, free food, free, nice free education. And of course, we know, Greg, it's not free. We just all end up paying for it. And there's a percentage of people that are tired of paying for it, and they're leaving the state. And the only people that are denying the census numbers that, again, are generated by a Democrat administration are the census deniers in the state of Illinois that are part of the Democrat Party. They're the census deniers, and they're the ones that just won't trust the data and then change policies in the state of Illinois that reverse course.
So the numbers, 87,000 plus just in 1 year. If you look at previous years, it stacks up more and more. It's several 100,000 over the last 6 years, and $47.5 billion of adjusted gross income that has left the state of Illinois for other states. So Senator Chesney talking about how Democrats are denying population, and by doing that, they're really not focused on policy changes. I asked the Republican from Freeport about what kind of changes he would bring about if indeed he had a magic wand.
You have to reverse the sanctuary state policies in the state of Illinois. You have to eliminate the Trust Act. You have to start backing the blue. You have to reverse the policies that have put in place to defund the police. So you first have to be a state of law and order, and then you have to put the citizens of the state of Illinois first. So that's number one. Two, you have to cut taxes in the state of Illinois. You just have to do it. I would prefer to cut taxes for the middle class. That would be my preference. We've had plans that can take some of the savings from the pensions and start to deliver that towards property tax relief. Former Representative Mark Badnick put that forward, and we believe that would be a substantive relief for the taxpayers of Illinois and bring real relief for them on the tax portion. And then we have regulatory. I mean, we regulate everything in the state of Illinois. I mean, literally everything, over-regulate. How about this? How about we just have somebody that wants to work in the state of Illinois, that wants to be a nurse, wants to be a teacher? How about we don't take 6 months to process their license and we do it in 3 or 4 days? That would be a good place to start, right? And so we can just cut out the bureaucracy through the IDPH, the DHS, and all these different bureaucratic agencies. And if somebody wants to start a daycare, it shouldn't take a year to get the license. It should take days. And everything just takes so much time because of regulation and a bunch of bureaucrats that are still working from home that don't care. And it can be fixed, and it can be fixed in seconds if somebody would just put their foot down and demand better. That's what I do. Those three things.
Again, that's State Senator Andrew Chesney. Conversation I had with him on Friday reacting to the IRS data showing another year of population decline, people moving out of the state and taking with them adjusted gross income of close to $10 billion from 87,000 people moving. And if you look at the income levels, it's higher income people who are moving out of the state, being replaced by fewer people who are making less. So that's how you get that disparity. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell with America's Talking Network on YouTube. And also be sure to check out thecentersquare.com, where you can get these and other headlines. Like as Illinois subsidizes EV industry, an auto analyst says gas-powered engines are here to stay. A new study finds Chicago's among the worst-run cities in the country, and so much more. Again, go to thecentersquare.com and stay up to date with what's going on here in Illinois. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Thank you so much for taking time with us each and every weekday morning and being part of the program as we update you what's going on here in the state of Illinois.